I just put the sound files up sometimes, but if you want to go off screen, feel free. What am I doing? As soon as I switch the recording on, I've forgotten what I'm doing. There we go. Do feel free, if you want to unmute and ask a question anytime, feel free. It just stops kind of interference happening. Okay. So, loving kindness practice, developing responsiveness. It's just a very good quality to have, and I think we all have it. We all have some basic level of self-care, and why would you be at a meditation class if you didn't think that it was going to do something good for you? So I know you already have some of this in play. So when the word that we're translating as loving kindness is metta or maitri, and it's sort of it's universal and unconditional. So the word love is great, but it gets used in all sorts of other ways that are conditional and that are not universal. Not in my experience anyway. So we're looking for the universal, unconditional side of love, but it might sound like a tall order, but we'll work our way there gradually. There's a formal practice that has 5 stages that we'll work into, but I think before we do anything else, we just make yourself comfortable, stable, upright if you can, lying down if you can't. Comfortable is the most important thing. You can't see the bottom half of my body, but if you are sitting on the floor at some point, you might want to sit on something. Yeah, if you relax, your back's gonna bow out. But so just be comfortable for now, as comfortable as you can be. Feel the sitting bones. Our first point of reference. Sensations on the base of the pelvis that let you know that there are those 2 bony protuberances, whose Latin name I forget. I'll just refer to them as sit bones. And you might like to just roll yourself ever so slightly backwards and forwards on your sitting bones, so that your pelvis isn't really rolling backwards or forwards. You're just trying to find the most stable place for the pelvis. If the pelvis is comfortable, the whole spine can be comfortable. The spine can just be in its natural curves as much as it's comfortable. And this is true whether you're sitting on the floor or sitting on a chair. Sit bones, spine relationship. So take some moments to feel into the bones of the pelvis and the spine. Having a direct felt sense of the sensations. A direct feeling of the sensations, not thinking about the pelvis or the spine, but coming to know the spine. There's a lot of it that can't be felt directly. So a good general sense that there's something strong and supportive going on deep in the core of the body, not just at the back. And that core bony structure is supporting the head. So the weight of the head is dropping through the spine into the pelvis. And through the pelvis into the seat, into the floor, into the center of the earth. The shoulders and the rib cage extending out from the spine, wrapping around the organs to meet in the sternum, the clavicle and the shoulder blades, or shoulder girdle, nestling on top of the rib cage. So knowing the ribs, knowing the shoulders through the sensations. There is no other way. And letting the awareness spread out into the whole torso now, into the soft tissues of the belly and the chest and the throat. Noticing sensations of movement caused by the breath. It's letting the breath be as it is. No need to change anything about the breath. Just let it be. Just know it. Clearly knowing the breath. As we come to know the torso, from the sit bones to the skull, shoulders and arms. How heavy are the arms? Have them resting comfortably in a way that doesn't draw the shoulders out of alignment. Hands, lots of detail in the sensation of the hands. Get a lot of nerve endings, a lot of information. And perhaps if you pay attention to the hands, they'll get a little warmer perhaps. And letting the awareness also spread downwards into the legs, thighs and knees and shins and calves and ankles, heels, soles of feet, toes, arches. Sensations of toes touching each other perhaps, texture of socks or whether the feet are in contact with. Pressure on the floor perhaps. Just gently coming to know. You can bring some detail to the skull, the face. Again, there's a lot of information in the face. Is the face holding an expression that's no longer needed? Can the eyes rest a little more deeply into the sockets? Creating a chain reaction of relaxation from the eyeball to the optic nerve and directly into the brain. Ears. Soft ears. Soft nostrils. Just letting the aroma of the room arrive in the nostrils. The feeling of breath being breathed, cool air in, warm air out. The tongue resting in the cave of the mouth. Is it possible to experience the whole body at once? A body of 38 trillion cells at once, all breathing. Being breathed. The earth is breathing you. The earth is supporting you. So into this presence of the body, just turning the mind towards someone towards whom you feel gratitude. It's a nice way to start the practice, this kind of warming up the heart. Just call to mind a person or two who you feel grateful to. Could be something really small or big, doesn't matter. And don't worry about the circumstances and what happened next. Just rest the heart in that moment of gratitude. See how that feels. Is it just the heart? Is it the belly? Is it the shoulders? Where is the gratitude happening? Gratitude or thankfulness that somebody has done something that has benefited us in some way. If you could let that person fade and keep that a little bit of that warm kindling going in the heart. Is it possible to turn that gratitude towards kindness? The gratitude arises because of somebody else's kindness. Could we direct kindness in ourselves? So as I said at the beginning, we all have some kindness in ourselves, however small. And sometimes just to direct the attention like that can really work. But there are other methods of bringing this, this emotion, this volition to the fore. Traditionally, use simple affirmative phrases of well-wishing, of goodwill. So just try this, saying to yourself inwardly, may I be well. May I be well. Notice if there's any heart response. May I be happy. May I be happy. Allow their heart to receive the words. May I be well. May I be happy. It's good to leave a little bit of space each time you say a sentence, just to feel the response. It's like you have some kindling of kindness, and if you gently blow on the kindling, you can get a fire going. Blowing on a spark to get a flame. May I live in safety and peace. May I be free of suffering and pain. May I live in safety and peace. May I be free of suffering and pain. You can explore all of these phrases one at a time, or stay with one for a while. Move to another if that suits. Or sometimes just the word kindness. Kindness. And just ask the heart to direct itself in that direction. Kindness. Another method for bringing this loving kindness into focus is to visualize. So you might like to try visualizing a beautiful golden sun in the heart center. So the metaphor is of warmth and light. The image carries warmth and light in it that can spread through the whole of our experience, whole of our being, suffused with the warmth and light of loving kindness. Or you might prefer a beautiful red flower bud opening and spreading the fragrance of kindness, compassion, goodwill, love even. And then take a few moments to decide which of these methods works for you today. Could be different every time you do the practice. Was connecting with kindness very directly, just turning the heart towards kindness. How about the phrases or the images? Just being clear. What's working today? So now, if you will, we'll just move on to so this is the first stage of the practice. Finding kindness in ourselves, for ourselves. Because you can't give what you don't have. So call to mind someone now as we move into the second stage, who is a good friend in a very straightforward sort of way. So maybe don't choose somebody that you're sexually attracted to. Maybe somebody of a roughly similar age peer group is good, but just keeping things simple. Nothing wrong with feelings of sexual attraction. They're usually not unconditional. So just a good friend. Somebody that you just want the best for them. You just want good things to happen to them.一个好朋友。And you can say, may you be well. May you be happy. May you be free of suffering and pain. May you make progress. May you live safely. Also, because they're your good friends, you already have these feelings of loving kindness for them. That's sort of the definition of a good friend. So you could just rest the heart with that. Or visualize the light coming from your heart to theirs. Or remembering what it's like, visualizing what it's like to be with the friend, that this feeling is just there. And if the mind wanders, don't worry about that. Just keep bringing the attention back to kindness, to the good friends, to the body. Every time we come back to the task in hand, we're strengthening the presence muscle of the mind. So that's our workout. keep coming back to body, to kindness, to good friend. Every time the mind wanders, we just notice and gently move our attention back to kindness for the good friend. To the desire for their happiness. So before we move on to the third stage, just take a mini rest. Just resting in presence. How is the body? How is the breath? How is the heart? So reconnecting with kindness, however you're doing that today. And call to mind somebody who is neutral to you. Somebody that you don't have any particular feeling for, one way or another. A neutral person. The world is full of neutral people. Sometimes it can be hard to choose. Just somebody that is memorable enough that you can keep them in mind for a few minutes. So this is where we start to stretch the unconditional part of our kindness. We don't have any feelings about this person in particular. But maybe we don't know them. Maybe we don't know anything about them. But we do know one thing, and that is that they want to be happy. They want to avoid suffering. So if you're wishing them happiness, if you're wishing them freedom from suffering, you are in fact wishing them their heart's desire. So it takes a little bit more concentration. So just know that, you will need to re-engage your interest many times. And that's okay. That's what meditation is. So bring that neutral person to mind right away, if you can, as soon as you've chosen them. You can just extend the kindness that you have towards them if you like. You can be saying, may you be well, may you be happy. Watching Kaixin. Visualizing a golden sun in their heart center, all light going from yours to theirs. But every time the mind wanders, relax. When the mind is wandering, it's active, so relaxing. Relax back into presence, reconnect with the neutral person, and bring them into this place of kindness. And every time the mind wanders off, patiently, persistently, over and over again, gently coming back. Okay, so let that neutral person fade. Take a very small rest. Feel the body, feel the breath. So call to mind now somebody that you find difficult. Somebody it would be a bit of a challenge to direct your kindness at. So we're going to do that. So maybe not somebody who's too challenging, maybe not your worst enemy, if you have a worst enemy. Maybe even a friend that you're having some difficulties at the moment. Or somebody who's a bit annoying. Maybe that flatmate who never does the washing up. So bring them to mind. Bring them to the heart. and start to wish them well. So importantly, to know you don't have to like somebody to be kind to them. Kindness is universal. You can really have a lot of difficulty with someone and still be kind to them. You can still respond to their basic humanity, even if they fail to exhibit it very often. And make sure you're choosing somebody you have some sort of actual relationship with, not your least favorite politician or one of the monsters of history. It's too overwhelming. Somebody you actually interact with in some way, who you find difficult. So just keep an eye on your attention. When your attention might wander off into all the reasons why this is a difficult person, just rest that, just relax that. Don't push it away. In fact, if you can have your awareness of the difficulty and the kindness in mind at the same time, in your heart at the same time, this is very instructive. Clearly knowing what is happening in the heart and mind. And if need be, making those small adjustments, just turning towards kindness over and over. Where are you now? What adjustments are needed? You might like to take a short rest, breathe, shake the whole body. So we move into the fifth and final stage. We bring all of these four people together. Ourselves, good friends, the neutral person, the difficult person. Bring them all together at the same time. So our first job is to have kindness, to try and equalize our kindness towards each of these four people. So in the tradition, they say if you had a priceless jewel, or perhaps next week's winning lottery numbers, you wouldn't know who to give it to. You wouldn't know whether to keep it or give it to your friend or the neutral person or the difficult person. So that's what we aim for. We may not get there today, and that's okay. Just set off in that direction. Loving kindness towards each equally. May we all be happy. May we all be well. May we all be free of suffering and pain. May we live in safety and peace. You could perhaps visualize all of you sitting together, or you could bring them one at a time. Just the felt sense of their presence all together. You just keep coming back to kindness, extending out to all these four people and beyond. You might like to include all of us meditating together on Zoom. Sending our kindness through the airwaves, through the cables to each other. You can expand to include everybody in the building that you're in. The buildings around, the street, the locality that you're in. Straight away, hundreds, maybe thousands of beings. Men, women, cats, dogs, foxes, birds, spiders. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free of suffering and pain. May all live in safety and peace. May all make progress in their lives. And gradually expanding further and further. But don't feel that you have to push this loving kindness. Think of it more like being a beacon or a lighthouse, a light, a sun, this shining, loving kindness towards all beings, and expanding as far as you feel able to this morning. Perhaps filling the country that we're in, the city, country, the continent, the planet, the solar system, the universe, as far as the imagination will take you. But also, if you can only manage to get to the end of your road, that's also okay. We just go as far as we can each time. Just looking for that feeling of the heart opening and expanding further and further without any boundaries. No boundaries, no preferences, no assumptions. May all beings be one. May all beings be truly happy in their heart of hearts. Every time the mind wanders off, bring yourself back. And then resting once more, letting go of any effort that you're making, and just rest in presence. Take some moments to absorb the effects of the practice. Just sit. Finding a gentle transition back into the room. So there we have loving kindness, or Metta Bhavana, as it's called. in 5 easy stages. I'm just going to stop the recording.